Welcome to Eastern Creek Raceway in Sydney and round 6 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. When we left here yesterday, John Bowe had pole position, but of course his teammate Dick Johnson drew the outside of the front row. And as you can see, Mark Scaife got away to a rather slow start. That put John Bowe and Dick Johnson up chasing 1-2, and that's exactly where they finished. Johnson looking quite keen there as he got away from John Bowe. And Larry Perkins, of course, was to finish in 3rd place.
And there's Thomas Mazira at the back of the field. And yesterday, Thomas in the Holden Racing Team Commodore had a very difficult qualifying on his flying lap in the fast left-hander at the end of the long straight. He got out in the grass here, got the car all sideways, slammed the wall and wrote that car off. Terry Finnegan very lucky to miss Thomas Mazira. You can see the damage done to the HRT Commodore. So last night the crew went to enormous lengths to change engines and gearboxes and get this spare car ready. He'll run from the back of the grid with a 10-second penalty with new tyres.
Round 6 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship from Eastern Creek. They're racing, and look at Scaife, straight between the pair of them. 4-wheel drive, no advantage? Don't you believe it? Heading down to the first turn, it'll be Mark Scaife that leads them in there. Dick Johnson in 2nd spot. They're followed by John Bowe. There's the Lansvale Smash Repairs car going through. Tony Longhurst away to a good start, and so too Alan Jones. Turn number 2. And the Nissan will lead. The 2 Shell Sierras tucked in behind them, and then Larry Perkins and the statewide Rhodes Commodore coming up very smartly behind John Bowe.
Certainly a great start from Mark Scaife, and he's wanting, of course, to protect his championship lead, and he's trying to pull off a double in 1992 and win the Australian Driving Championship as well as the Touring Car Championship. But there's a heck of an argument for the minor placings.
Well, he's gained a couple of spots. Here's John Bowe pulling out of the slipstream. Just has a look at Dick Johnson. That is the fastest corner on the circuit. As Bowe, down on the inside of his team leader, wraps up 2nd spot, gets on the toe now in the Winfield Nissan as they head down to turn number 2. And JB in no mood to settle for 2nd best today. He's on the tail of the Nissan. Dick sits in right behind him. Larry Perkins, a very comfortable 4th at this stage.
Well, John Bowe's been knocked around by a variety of competitors over the last couple of rounds, Mike, and I think he's going to be quite happy just to get up there and do battle with Mark Scaife and show who's boss here.
Looks like Terry Finnegan, is it, that's blowing all that smoke.
There's plenty of it.
Foodtown Commodore. It looks like it's lunched itself. It's getting close up here. We take Nissan race cam. This is Jimmy Richards' car riding back in the pack.
Jim had a problem in qualifying yesterday. The car ran on 5 cylinders, and that's why he qualified way back in 12th position. Uncharacteristic for Jimmy Richards, who is always at the front of the field. He's alongside Wayne Park and Peter Jackson Sierra at the moment, trying to work his way through. This is a very, very tricky track to pass on. I personally love the track. I think it's a fabulous complex, and Richards through on the inside of Park. But you have to pick and choose your passing spots very wisely. There are a lot of places on the track where 2 lines converge, and look at this scrap with Bowe up on the outside of Scaife, and the Sierra just blast past into the lead. So clearly the Ford with a horsepower edge at the moment. Bowe made a good run onto the straight, got the draft in behind Mark Scaife, and Larry Perkins is tagging along well in the Commodore. So we've got Sierra from Nissan, then another Sierra, and then Larry attacking Dick Johnson in the argument for 3rd place.
Looks like the Finnegan car, the number 27 car, is in the pits, out of commission.
Bowe's opening up a very healthy gap now over this group, but just going back to discussing Tony Longhurst, I think that you'll find as this race unfolds, and it's 16 laps in total, and then you get into the 2nd heat, that the BMW will be very strong. Larry now up the inside of Dick Johnson. Dunlop Racecam tells the story, and Larry has a spin, and a big one. Locked up the rear brakes.
And he's got Johnson, the side of Johnson's car on the way through. There's not too much room there. Fortunately, they've all got through on the inside. Minimal damage, I would think, to the Perkins car. There's Thomas Mazira. Let's have a look at this as Larry comes up on the statewide Rhodes Commodore, slips it down on the inside, locks up the brakes, the tail comes out, there it is, bang.
Well, that cost Dick a window as well. He's going to have a bit of shattered glass in the cockpit of his Shell Sierra.
Dick Neil Crompton, what happened out there?
Oh, mate, LP did another one of his desperate braking manoeuvres. He reversed it into my door. I got glass everywhere in here. It's down my shoes, down my pants. It's a bit prickly, old cock.
Pain of a glass, yeah.
Come on, Dick. A little bit of cut glass never hurt anybody. Just go back and get him.
Mate, I've always wanted a glass eye. I think I've got one.
Oh, I'm not going to touch that with a barge, pal. Come back to you later.
Righto, pal.
Bye. It's like Castrol sump cam, full of Castrol, and that's how low you are to the ground here. Fascinating stuff from our race cam engineers, coming up with a different angle for just about every touring car race. Not imported. Sevens technology exported, of course, as we pick up on Tony Longhurst, sitting in the draft now of Mark Scaife down the very long straight here. We'll see Thomas Mazira move from the back of the field up to 14th, and Perkins from 3rd back to 15th. And here comes Nobaloni. Tony up on the inside. The deep under brakes here, and there goes Tony. Is the little opening?
Very nice driving there. He waited. He was nice and patient. He's been a little bit impatient on occasions when he's had John Bowe to contend with.
Jimmy Richards carrying our Nissan race cam as he comes up on the inside of Peter Brock. Beautiful move that on the inside.
He made a good clean exit out of the corner, and Peter just got a little bit out of shape. There's a new tyre on the Commodore this weekend.
You ought to still bow over Tony Longhurst. They've opened up a huge gap over Mark Scaife, and probably 8 or 9 car lengths then back to Johnson, followed, of course, by Jimmy Richards.
Take Dunlop race cam. Dick goes down the outside under brakes. Brock's got a nice line into the.
Yes. You'd be a bit careful. You didn't cop a Larry back through the window there.
Brock covers his tracks, and while Dick gets pushed wide, Alan Jones takes advantage of that, and Dick goes back even another position.
5 laps to go in this Heat 1 this afternoon of round 6, and it's this close stuff. Let's have a look at Colin Bond. I think he got a bit of help there from Paul Morris, perhaps just a touch, maybe.
Paul actually forgot to put his foot on the brake there. That was...
You weren't as gracious as us. We take our Castrol race cam, riding almost at Castrol sump level with Tony Longhurst. And this will be fascinating stuff over the tight part of the circuit. Let's see what Tony can do here. Oh,
here's a fire in Bondi's car.
They pulled out the
it's Gary Wilmington's Toyota Supra. He's had a big barbecue on 4 wheels there. They've got it out.
Well, he's on top of old smoke. It looks at, yes, he's out of the car and okay. That's just before the grandstand here at Eastern Creek.
See, Tony's on the throttle early. Castrol race cam shows a fabulous view under the bottom of the Sierra. The BMW M3's almost got racing car characteristics in the way that it brakes and handles, where the Sierra, the Commodore and the other cars are probably more traditional touring car guys, where your tyres and brakes are really sad after a while. Up on the inside this time, but again the Sierra quicker in a straight line, so then John covers his ground naturally. This is probably an area of vulnerability, but Tony would have to get right round the outside and then almost take some ground off John. That would be a very tough thing to do. Plus there's dust and marbles on the exit, and you can see that when the Sierra runs wide, it closes off the opening quite dramatically. And Dick Johnson in trouble, car number 17. What has happened there? A spin. Any other parties involved? It's hard to tell.
He's really been in the wars today.
And look at Longhurst right on the bumper bar of the Shell Sierra. Can he get up the inside here? If he could just get to at least halfway along it, he'll be able to get under John and aggravate him, but no, he can't do it. The Sierra comes back once again. So now he tries the outside route when they go to this right-hand kink. Pretty impossible thing to do, Alan.
He wants the sling-in type, but you mentioned earlier he gets off the engine speed and the Sierra is just a little bit too strong for him in a straight line.
Okay, last corner, coming onto the main straight, the crowd's up on its feet. And Longhurst doing everything he can, but he's going to be shy on horsepower. John Bowe, I think, is going to survive, or will he? It's going to be very, very tight, but no, the Shell Sierra, John Bowe at the helm, takes the win in Heat 1. Tony Longhurst backs away from it in the end and finishes in 2nd place. And those two with a very healthy margin over 3rd placed Mark Scaife, and there he is. He was about 6.5, 7 seconds behind in 3rd.
Bowe, Longhurst the front row. Racing, goodbye, go the Nissan straight between them. They'll be 1, 2, 3 very quickly as Mark Gibbs tries to get up, and Bowe covers his ground very well getting into the bottom corner. Johnson goes in there. Longhurst, of course, couldn't sustain anything off the line, so he's back in the pack a little bit. Down to the 2nd turn now. Mark Gibbs up on the inside. He should have picked up 3rd, but he gets very wobbly on the exit to that turn. They all get through there and now make their run to the top end of the circuit. John Bowe starting fairly well. Larry Perkins at the back of the field, plus 10 seconds because of a change of tyres, and Peter Brock down on the inside of the BMW. There's Dickie Johnson, gets a short back and sides. He's gone. sideways, off onto the grass.
Just the slightest tap, and Dick was in trouble.
There's
Frustrating guy.
Glenn Seaton up there on the inside.
Just looking at the body language from Mark and his car, well, there's a great demonstration. He's really 10-tensing it at the moment as JB goes down the inside and Bow goes to the lead now. The crowd stands. Pretty exciting motor race. And Bow to the lead in 18. Scaife back to second. Two things spring to mind. Either Scaife, and the auto colour entry has gone off. The top of the straight.
Yes, the Dulux has had a dunk up there. Oh. So here comes AJ down on the inside of Jimmy Richards.
Very nice
Oh,
move.
beautiful.
Very nice move. Yep. Nice and tidy.
Fastest corner on the racetrack through here. But from here, Tony keeps on as Mark tries to get on the binders a bit earlier, and he'll come up the inside, will he? No, he can't. Let's go back to our Castrol race cam. He goes in wide once again. He'll be all over him here. And that's a nice spot. That's where they'll put the tow hitch in the box trailer for Bathurst with the terracotta tyres in it.
Under brakes for the hairpin.
Down to turn number 9. John Bower gets out of there. He's home on his way. The victory here today. Bob Jones getting a lap put on him by Mark Scaife late in the race. Another one of the consistent Commodore privateers. They come into the final turn. There's JB.
Sandown Park all over again.
Yes, from Tasmania. What a great driver. Number 2 to the Dick Johnson team. And here he comes. The Ford wins today at Eastern Creek Raceway. Second goes to Scaife in the Nissan. And the giant killing performance yet again going to Tony Longhurst, who picks up a third. Well done, JB.